Mr. Squidward, welcome to the night shift.
Hello again, everybody, and happy Saturday night, and welcome in to the MI6 Sports Network's late night sports talk show. That, of course, folks, is The Night Shift on our 14th episode on this Saturday night, October 24th, 2020. As usual, folks, joined alongside by my fellow late night sports talk show host on the 6th. That is our good buddy Isaiah Leung from the Garage Studios up in Fremont, California. And yours truly, Cal McClurg, back here in the home studio in San Diego, taking yesterday off to kind of get myself back into game shape of some type for playing outdoor roller hockey here in Southern California with a bunch of my good friends and things of that nature. But Isaiah, good to see you again, buddy. And of course, man, welcome to the Night Shift. How is things going?
Welcome back, Callan. It's great to have you on the program once again. You know, yesterday I did a lot of talking on No BS about how Minnesota was a fraud. And I said that, hey, I guarantee you that Minnesota would not win this game. I said that if they do win this game, that I would come on here and put on a Tanner Morgan GOAT shirt. And I'm just so glad that Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines, they bailed me out. I'm really happy for that because, man, if I had to come on here with that Tanner Morgan GOAT shirt, it would have been really embarrassing. So thank you so much to Michigan for pulling that win off. But guys, as you guys saw on my Facebook timeline, I teased a lot of surprises on tonight's show. I have, I think, 3 major surprises for y'all. So make sure you guys keep tuning in into the program because you don't know what surprises are going to pop up on tonight's program. But Callan, I have one surprise I got to reveal to our audience right now. And
That will have to wait, folks, as of course, as you know very well, the MI6 Sports Network is the proud home of technical difficulties throughout the course of our program. But again, folks, as a reminder here, again, if you're a first-time viewer joining us here on the late night program, again, the Night Shift here for our 14th episode. But again, folks, as a reminder, again, we try our best to come here every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday to recap your day of sports. Again, if you've been perhaps maybe working on a Tuesday night or maybe perhaps working on a Saturday or Sunday, kind of getting some of your work done before a new week begins or your day is over with and you've not had a chance to check your phone or get caught up on news and scores, we try our best to bring you a Cliff Notes version of your sports day every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 o'clock Pacific time every single Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday right here on the MI6 Sports Network. And again, folks, we'll have Isaiah Leung back with us here shortly. But as usual, folks, we again are sadly still right now stuck with technical difficulties, and we've been trying our best to get these worked out. And again, folks, we again will sincerely say thank you again for those of you for once again hanging in there and again bearing with us. As again, we've been dealing with a lot of these problems over the past several programs here at this juncture. I'll go into the chat box real quick, folks. Again, as usual, folks, your opinions, your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Again, hot takes or cold takes, whatever you got, folks. If you want us to, again, perhaps give you a shout out on the air, again, right into the comment box and live via the MI6 Facebook page, or, of course, live via my personal timeline, or we're also live via YouTube as well here today. But, of course, folks, we'll get into the chat box real quick and say hello real quick to our good buddy Angel Berrigan Jr., just saying hello, everyone, and also to our great friend Shardul Gupta, also writing and saying hello, Cal, and, of course, Shardul. Thank you, as always, man, for writing in. And also to Angel again. He says, thanks, Callan. I'm having San Diego Barracudas flashbacks. I, sadly, Angel, was not able to see the Barracudas play those 3 years, and they were in the RHI, but had a lot of friends of mine that I now call friends who I was big fans of when they were with the West Coast Hockey League San Diego Gulls at that time, notably Mark Stipp, Mark Wolf, John Spoltor, who played Brad Bellin, of course, as well. Shout out to Brad. He's been a big big supporter of me in my career, and of course played for the Gulls for a long time in the WCHL days. So Angel, I'm glad I could bring you some Barracuda throwbacks for San Diego again, the old Roller Hockey International League. With that, folks, we do have Isaiah back after, again, his time stuck in technical problems. Isaiah, we'll go back to you with what you were saying about surprises on this program.
Yes, I teased on Facebook that I had a bunch of surprises for the night shift fam. And ladies and gentlemen, here's one of our surprises. You know, my guy Stephen Wang has been gloating for the past year about how Minnesota is so good and stuff. And I countered back saying Minnesota is a fraud and stuff like that. So ladies and gentlemen, here is one of our surprises. Callan, can you give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown, please, sir?
3, 2, 1.
Sunk the boat, Minnesota sucks. Thank you to Michigan for putting them in their place. Hey, sunk the boat, Harbaugh sunk the boat. Thank you to Michigan for sinking the boat. That's for you, Golden Gophers fans. The boat has been sunk.
At least for week 1, it's been sunk for the Big Ten. But again, folks, plenty of baseball, or plenty of football, I should say. But of course, folks, we will start, though, with the immaculate ending that was Game 4 of the 2020 World Series. And probably, folks, that I put out on the web, though, in my 22 years of watching, playing, or announcing baseball, folks, I have never seen a more insane finish to a baseball game at any point, regular season, spring training, regular season, postseason, World Series, but the Tampa Bay Rays, in part thanks to what I am still believing is a 2-air play by Chris Taylor and Will Smith, somehow, some way, win Game 4, 8-7 in a big-time punch-counter-punch ball game. Isaiah, I don't know where to start, man, other than everyone that is a baseball fan absolutely losing their minds with how this game went. Again, though, Dodgers go ahead, though. The Rays come back. Again, like I said, they'll punch, counter punch. But as mentioned, though, folks, again, we lost Isaiah again due to, again, those technical problems. But again, folks, like I said, though, in my 22-year career, or 22 years, I should say, of either playing baseball, watching games religiously, or announcing games, I've seen a lot. I've seen walk-off grand slams. I've seen walk-off walks, walk-off base hits, walk-off box, game-tying box. And, I think, folks, that you have seen a lot. If you've been a baseball fan, you've seen a lot of weird things, in regards to grand slams, as mentioned, or in regards to things, though, that make baseball so intriguing. But in this game, though, tonight, folks, where you saw, as we had already kind of touched base on, but again, the Dodgers go up early, the Rays come back, LA goes back in front, the Rays go in front, the Dodgers tie, the Rays tie. And again, though, just like a great boxing match or a great prize fight, punch, counter punch, no one really is able to really, throw that big knockout punch yet. But then, though, folks, it boils down to the 9th inning of this game, though, with LA on top, 7-6, and of course, Kenley Jansen comes into the ball game. Leadoff guy gets on, then an out, and then another walk is issued. You have first and second, and Brett Phillips comes up to the plate. Had been dealt away from the Royals early in the year to Tampa Bay. Probably had not had a lot of success in his time playing there. Fights off a couple pitches, sees strike one. Then, in a way, though, gets sawed off, breaks his bat, and is able to get enough on it to have it fall in between the shift. Now, as a quick flashback here, though, but we had a similar play, though, where Kike Hernandez just barely missed a sensational diving catch in the shift to keep the Rays off the scoreboard, or at least, keep it where it is. And I said we'll get to you in just a second here, but if you can just hang tight here at this time. But more so, again, folks, kind of resetting again, but you have that one base hit that beats the shift once. Then you see Phillips's base hit again out of the reach of the shift. But more than anything else, though, the tying run's going to score on the play, though. But Chris Taylor picks his head up a wee bit too early, fumbles the ball. That brings him a tying run regardless of what happens in my mind. But then Randy Azarina is flying around the base paths and sadly becomes Daniel Jones 2.0, tripping over his own feet about halfway down the baseline. Taylor makes a great relay throw to Max Muncy, but Muncy's throw was way offline, and he was maybe 25, maybe 30 feet, maybe away from Will Smith, the catcher. Smith, though, was way too aggressive, or just kind of in a way took his eye off the ball for a moment. The ball gets by him through the umpire and all the way to the screen to bring in Arozarena, who practically bear crawled home to win the ball game for Tampa Bay. And you know, Isaiah, like I said, though, buddy, in my 22 years of watching baseball, I have not seen a more insane finish to a game. We've seen so many times, though, Isaiah, where guys are flying around the base paths. But Sally, though, they happen to lose their footing and they become like an internet sensation, or their teammates will troll them by taping out with the athletic tape where they landed and what it looked like when they fell and stuff like that, though. But this time, though, it works, though, man, where Arozarena comes in to score. But more so, Isaiah, on two bizarre errors. And I think to make things even worse for Dodger fans, I think I saw something here from SNY in New York. Those errors come on the same date, 1986, of the infamous Bill Buckner ball between the legs error that blew the game for Boston against the Mets in 86. So, Isaiah, a lot to unpack from this game, man, but give us your thoughts first, though, more so on the game. We'll talk more about that game-winning play for the Rays, though, momentarily. But, Isaiah, your thoughts on the game before we get to the actual play itself.
My thoughts on this game is that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to win the World Series. I posted this on Facebook, I think it was during the game, when it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The Dodgers, they had a 4-2 lead, and then Brandon Lowe works his magic again and hits a 3-run homer to put the Rays ahead of the Dodgers 5-4. And then the Dodgers, Jock Peterson with a 2-run single that gets off the glove of the Rays second baseman, puts the Dodgers back in front 6-5. Yeah, 6-5. And then Kevin Kiermaier with a solo homer to tie the game. And then Corey Seager with his boinks, or just like dunks a single into left field to give the Dodgers back the lead. It was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a roller coaster of a game. And I just said this. I said the Dodger, or whoever wins this game, or whoever loses this game, my apologies, whoever loses this game will end up losing the World Series, because I do not believe that they will be able to bounce back from the emotional toll of this loss, because you guys know how sports work. You know, a team that wins this type of a game, they're on an emotional high for the next several games that's going to lead them to victories, while the team that loses this type of game, this hits harder than your ordinary loss. So I think that for the Dodgers, this is a very bitter loss for them. I can imagine that it hurts even more than an ordinary loss, and I just don't see the Dodgers bouncing back from the devastating emotional toll from this loss.
Isaiah, I would agree in regards to the emotional state, because, you know, this game had everything you wanted in it in regards to leads, going away, guys not executing in situations and things like that, though. I think it's a better story. I mean, at least with the series, because we had talked about, Isaiah, earlier on last week, though, that game one had record low viewership because of, again, maybe that lack of another market, major market like a New York, for example, or Houston, playing against the Dodgers. Again, the LA market being as huge as it is, though. But then, though, you see the beauty, though, Isaiah, of baseball with, first of all, man, we'll go first about this. I wanted to pull up the box score for this game real quick, but more so, Isaiah, Brett Phillips comes into this game, buddy, as a pinch runner for first baseman G-Man Choi, who, again, has been hitting the ball well, played some great defense, but, again, needed some speed out there when they had a good chance back in the 7th, I think, or the 8th to tie the game, and Hunter Renfroe popped out to win that inning to right field, though. But then, Isaiah, Brett Phillips has not really had a lot of playing time. He's been on the roster, hasn't done a whole lot, though. And probably, man, his biggest at-bat of his young MLB career, man, is a game-winning hit to win the game, Isaiah? I mean, we always talk about this game being loony at times, and then it's wonderful at times. But Isaiah, how do you think Brett Phillips probably sleeps tonight after that big hit he had? Probably the first big hit of his young and brief major league career.
Callan, to be honest with you, I don't think he sleeps at all, because I think that he will be on a very emotional high after this game. I mean, this guy coming into like his at bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, this guy, I think he only had 2 plate appearances in this entire postseason. He was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Kevin Kiermaier said this after the game to Ken Rosenthal, that Brett Phillips was primarily into the game to be a pinch runner and a defensive substitution. That's why he was on the roster, for his defense and his base running. He wasn't on the roster for his bat. You know, he didn't do anything in Kansas City. So I didn't really expect him to do anything when he came to the plate. That's why I was like, oh, crap, the Dodgers are probably going to win this game, because Brett Phillips isn't really a threat from the plate. And this guy proved me wrong. 1-2 pitch. He gets he chokes up on the bat and lines a base hit into right field. And then all the magical stuff happens in the end. So it's really great to see how baseball works, man. That's why baseball honestly is my favorite sport, because it's just magical. Like there's something magic about baseball.
Now, Isaiah, I'm trying to pull up the box score on my iPad via MLB.com. Now, per the actual line score, folks. Now, again, this is a play, Isaiah, that I believe is going to have to be changed, because per the actual box score on MLB.com, they are ruling the game-winning play as, for one, a base hit for Phillips. So he gets a single for it, which brings in a run to tie the game. So it's officially ruled right now on the website. The play description, folks, is this: Brett Phillips singles on line drive to right fielder Mookie Betts. That has got to be wrong. Kiermaier scores. Randy Arozarena scores. Fielding error by Chris Taylor. Now, Isaiah, this play, though, man, like I said, though, is probably one of the more loonier endings I've seen in a baseball game, or something I've seen in my 22 years of watching this game. Isaiah, I believe, though, that this scoring decision has got to be reviewed and changed, because I would think it's more so a base hit to Taylor, error by Taylor, and then a error on Will Smith. I would perhaps also think maybe the error could have been charged to Muncy for the throw, but it's got to be an error on Will Smith. That ball has got to be caught, that throw to the plate. I know it's not the best throw in the world, but you've got to make that catch in some capacity. But I think, though, that rightfully so, the one error is right on Taylor, but I think, Isaiah, there's got to be another error, though, added either on Muncy or more so in my mind on Smith for not catching that ball. So, Isaiah, about this play, though, man, what do you take away from it more so than anything else in regards to how it's scored, though, but more so, why does this play in your mind probably spell doom maybe for L.A., maybe some doom and gloom for the Dodgers in your mind?
Because for me, this play looked like the Dodgers cracked under the pressure. They looked ahead. You know, we all knew that who was the runner at second, Callan? Was it
Kiermaier.
It wasn't Kiermaier, right. Kiermaier, we knew when Brett Phillips lined that base hit into right field, we knew he was going to score, because Kiermaier is fast, and normally on a single, the runner from second always scores. So we knew that he was going to score. Plus, Chris Taylor doesn't have that good of an arm. So we knew that Kevin Kiermaier was going to score. But Chris Taylor decided, I guess he wanted to throw him out or something like that. So he panicked, and then he panics and he bobbles the ball in right field. That was one of the big problems. And then the second issue that I have is something that I commented on my guy Jonathan Mathis's post on Facebook when he was blaming Kenley Jansen. I said, you can't be blaming Kenley Jansen. Kenley Jansen actually pitched a pretty good inning in the 9th inning. That pitch that Brett Phillips hit, it wasn't a mistake pitch. It was a pretty good pitch that Brett Phillips just happened to hit it into right field. You got to blame Will Smith for that. That play, I guarantee you Will Smith makes 99 out of 100 times in his time as a catcher. There is no way that Will Smith has got to be looking ahead. He takes his eyes off the ball and he just plain out misses the throw by Max Muncy, which allows the runner to score. If you don't panic, if you be calm, if you don't take your eye off the ball and you secure the catch, you will easily be able to tag out Azarena, but because he slipped. But instead, Will Smith misses the ball. Azarena is able to score, and that's your ball game.
Now, Isaiah, the player side of me is going to come out now as opposed to the media member and analyst, again, playing the sport as long as I did. But with that, Isaiah, in regards to this play, though, man, I'll say first and foremost, do not blame Kenley Jansen. Jansen even said after the game, both the hits he gave up, folks, they were not that hard hit. They just happened to find holes in that overshifted Dodger defense. So I'm not going to blame Jansen for this, for him losing the game. I think we should all take a deep breath and say it's got to fall in my mind on the defensive woes on that final play. But also, the only thing, though, Isaiah, that Kenley Jansen will get scrutinized for by me as a former player is the one cardinal rule you do as a pitcher. You back up your bases. And Jansen stood there in the middle of nowhere in between the mound and home plate because he thought that, the throw was going to be perfect from Muncy to get Azarena and the inning would be over. However, you can't assume that throw is going to be good, but even at the same time, though, you got to back up your bases. And I think that more so, that's the only downfall on Jansen in my mind, Isaiah, is you got to back up the plate. Because if he backs at the plate, Azarena probably still doesn't score because if anything, Jansen's back there to back up the throw, go to home plate. You have the out, though. At the same time, though, that's the only thing I think, folks, that could only be pinned against Jansen. Both the hits he gave up, they weren't even hard enough contact. They happened to get by a diving Kike Hernandez who almost made a sensational play to either end the ball game or at least get out number 2. But at the same time, though, the error or errors, I think it still should be, honestly, an error on Taylor and then an error on Smith in my book if I was keeping score. But, though, the only blame that you can cast in my mind, folks, on Jansen is not backing up home plate. Isaiah, what more do you take away? Do you agree, though, that perhaps so that if there is any blame to be cast on Jansen, it's him not doing what pitchers are supposed to do, and that is to, of course, back up your bases?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think small blame has to be pinned on Kenley Jansen because you have to be able to back up the play. Like you said, Callan, if Kenley Jansen is able to back up that throw, he will be able to get it and tag out home plate, and this game will probably still be going on right now. But instead, we're here doing the night shift, talking about how the Dodgers blew this game. But I just believe, I think a lot of the blame is going to definitely be on Chris Taylor and also Will Smith. But I think the blame has got to be on Will Smith, like more so than Chris Taylor, because you got to catch that ball. Like, I know that throw wasn't perfect, but if Will Smith keeps his eye on the ball, he secures the ball, he tags out Azarena, and this game is still going on. So I just, Will Smith looked ahead, man, and that's why the Dodgers and Rays are now tied in this series.
So with that, folks, if you're casting blame out there, again, rightfully so, though, if you're a Dodger fan or just in general, if you're just a casual viewer tuning in again, if in your mind, who gets blamed for the loss tonight for the Dodgers, let us know. We'll read some of those comments as they, in fact, trickle in. With that, Isaiah, some comments about the ball game. First and foremost, though, Angel writing in about the old West Coast Hockey League Gulls. I have very great memories of those guys, Angel. Isaiah, he also says real quick, he did not know that Al from Angels in the outfield got dealt to the Rays from the California Angels. I definitely agree with some of the buffoonery going on there. And also Angel says, wow, just wow. Everyone will be talking about that game for a long time. This is also why I like the baseball playoffs. Unlike the NBA and NFL, any team can win the World Series. Also, just tuning in real quick is our buddy Casey King. Hello, guys. Just pathetic ending. And once again, Dave Roberts mishandles the bullpen. Should have let Julio Urias finish off the inning that he took him out of. Again, Isaiah, I don't know, man, but this just seems to me, again, of another mismanaged ball game by Dave Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, are you guys talking about him taking out Urias in the fourth inning?
And going right to Blake Trinan.
Yeah, I think he should have let Urias finish the fourth inning because listen, I'm an A's fan and Blake Trinan pitched for us last year and he wasn't good at all. He was giving up home runs left and right. This guy is very, very shaky. I don't know what has happened to him ever since his historic 2018 performance, but you should not trust Blake Trinan in a crucial situation. This guy, I know it may seem harsh, but Blake Trinan needs to only come in when the Dodgers are either up big or down big. You cannot trust him in crucial situations. And I don't know why Dave Roberts has not learned his lesson yet from the many times that Blake Trinan has consistently blown games.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said, and Isaiah, I've been a firm believer in that, though, throughout the postseason. I would not touch Trinan or Jansen with a 10-foot pole. I still would not do so, and I still don't get why they keep going to the well. And I think a lot of people that are Dodger fans would agree, though. It's like, unless we're up by a gazillion, don't bring those guys in to the ball game. Angel also says that the final play brought back memories of the 92 season for him. And also, Angel says that the Dodgers do end up losing. Don't be surprised if Roberts is canned. We all have kind of come to that conclusion. But also, Casey agrees, though, with us, Isaiah. He says that Roberts should have gone to Gonzalez in the sixth, not Trinan and Baez. Then he left Baez in for too long. Again, Baez gave up the, a game-tying homer to Kevin Kiermaier back that made it a 6-6 tie. And also, Angel says, I blame Dave Roberts. He took out Julio Urias when he was doing good, left Pedro Baez in too long, and also Will Smith. He froze instead of getting the ball. I definitely agree, Angel, on that play that you're referring to. Again, folks, the Rays win Game 4 of the World Series in very weird fashion, again, on perhaps 2 errors on one play to lose the ball game. Again, Tampa Bay wins 8-7 with a 2-run comeback in the bottom half of the 9th inning. This is all spurred on, folks, by a game-winning base hit and error from the bat of pinch runner at the time, Brett Phillips, who came in for G-Man Choi. But a error in the outfield by Chris Taylor and perhaps a fielding error too, as well by catcher Will Smith gives the Rays a 8-7 victory. That is what Angel is referring to, though, is that I agree, though, Angel, that Smith definitely, he didn't know where for one, he didn't know where the ball was in my mind, but also I would think, though, that I think he also froze, though, as well, Angel, because I think that he was probably thinking, well, hey, Kenley's behind me backing up the play, though. But as I said, though, again, that is the one thing as a pitcher you absolutely have got to do with runners on scoring position, that with runners on base, is back up the next base. You always have to be thinking 2 bases ahead of the guy of the base runner. With, example, guy on first, I'm going to go back up third, and vice versa, back up second when you're already there. If the guy's going to perhaps have a double. But I agree, though, that I think, Angel, sadly, it's a bad mental lapse by Will Smith at the absolute worst possible time. That's why, though, Angel, I put a bit of blame on Kenley Jansen, because as a pitcher, you have got to know better. You cannot be a man on an island and not back up a base. Even when I played second base, for example, Angel, I would back up first on a bad throw from the catcher on a strikeout that was dropped, back up the throws from the catcher back to the mound anytime with guys on base or not, and just kind of get in that habit, though. But as a pitcher, it's magnified in my mind because you have got to be that guy thinking one step ahead of the base runner if there's a guy on base, though. So I think that the only blame in my mind, this may not sit well with Dodger fans out there, but the only blame I would cast if I was even a Dodger fan, which I'm not, but as an outsider, I only put the not backing up the base blame on Jansen. You cannot be a man on your own or on an island and not be somewhere and not backing up either third, backing up second, backing up, or especially more so, backing up the plate in that particular situation. I definitely agree with Angel, and I think you probably, folks, if you're a baseball fan, agree with my sentiments as well. If not, let us know. And again, we more so, folks, again, want to know who in your mind gets the blame for the Dodgers losing Game 4. In your mind, is it on Chris Taylor, Will Smith, Dave Roberts, Kenley Jansen? the whole ball club. Let us know, folks. We'll again do our best to make sure that the comments are in fact read on the course of the program. Some more thoughts here. By the way, folks, again, we are again without Isaiah, again, due to technical difficulties. So keep those comments coming, and we'll do our best to read those here. Let's kind of keep this dialogue going, folks. We'll get to some of the college football games momentarily. But again, for right now, let's kind of keep talking some baseball here. So keep firing away, folks, with your thoughts. Austin Morrison, again, one of our loyal viewers on the Six's Facebook page, he says, Callan definitely agree, or he says, Callan Jansen totally forgot to back up home plate on that play at the end, which is why I said, though, Austin, to your point, though, bud, great pickup there, is that, like I said, though, pitchers cannot be men on islands and by themselves. And again, I think on the play, though, Jansen was kind of, in a way, like going that route, Austin, but wasn't fully behind home plate. He was kind of like maybe, I'd say, a good 15 or 20 feet in between the mound and home plate. But that's why I think, though, to Angel's point, though, Austin, you probably agree, though, bud, but to Angel's point, though, it's why I think Will Smith froze for a moment, because he probably thought, or at least anticipated, that his pitcher was back there to back at the play, though, but sadly was not the case, though. And again, the Rays win the ball game 8-7. And again, a very, very interesting finish for this ball game. And also, Isaiah Angel agrees, by the way, with my point. That's the only thing I blame Jansen for. But other than that, he did good tonight. But again, Isaiah, more so, I kind of think, though, but sadly, there's been a lot of blame, cast on Kenley Jansen. But I think, though, man, this is probably the only time, though, I'd say this, though, Isaiah, the blame is not solely on Jansen in my mind, because as mentioned, you probably have to look at the error, or in my mind, I'm still going to say it though, but the errors on that play, because I really think, though, that honestly, Isaiah, there's got to be an error charge to Will Smith for, again, dropping that throw. But again, Isaiah, where do you probably stand, just as a reiteration again, where do you stand on maybe that final play for the Dodgers losing this ball game in very, very, very weird fashion tonight?
Well, I know we have a lot of Dodger fans that are watching this program, and they probably won't like what's about to come out of my mouth. And that is, I believe that the Dodgers, unfortunately, won't be able to bounce back from this, because the emotional toll of such a devastating loss like this is very, very, very hard to bounce back from. So I think that the Rays will probably win this World Series. I'm hoping the Dodgers win it, because Dave Roberts is a good guy, and I love Clayton Kershaw. I think he's definitely a future Hall of Famer, and I just really want to see that ring on his resume. But I think the Tampa Bay Rays will win this World Series, because it's just too devastating of a loss to bounce back from. I hope I'm wrong, though, but I think that if you're looking at this play, I think you probably have to cast 75% of the blame on Will Smith, because he missed that throw and he took his eye off that ball. Because if he doesn't take his eye off the ball and he secures it, I think he makes that catch and tags out the runner, and we're still going. Chris Taylor, I'll probably give him about 20% of the blame, and then I would probably say like 10% goes to Kenley Jansen for not blocking the plate in this game.
So again, folks, give us your thoughts here. Again, as mentioned, a very weird game, but if you're a baseball fan, whether you're rooting for the Dodgers or not, I think you want the series to kind of go on a bit longer, because we've been so starved for baseball. But again, in a very weird finish, folks, again, the Rays over LA 8-7 to tie the World Series up at 2 games apiece, again, on a very, very blunder-filled final play of the game, as mentioned, a Brett Phillips single, an error by Chris Taylor, and a possible error by Will Smith cost the game for the Dodgers in this game, again, for Game 4. And real quick, Isaiah Angel agrees with you in regards to your thoughts, though. He agrees. Look at what happened to the 86 Angels, the 86 Red Sox, and the 03 Cubs, where one big play sent them packing after they lost a pretty big game in regards to, again, the Angels and the Dave Henderson home run against the Red Sox. Donnie Moore, 1 strike away from the World Series. They lose that series. Of course, the Red Sox losing on the Bill Buckner blunder. And, of course, the 03 Cubs with Steve Bartman. So I think Angel onto a very valid point, though, for sure.
Choke theory.
Choke theory, indeed. And also, again, Isaiah, and I think, though, as well, though, that Casey is right, though, man. There still has got to be some blame, though, in my mind, cast on Dave Roberts, because it just seems like, though, man, if anyone on this Dodger ball club, more so than Kershaw and Jansen, crumple under pressure, Isaiah, it's got to be Dave Roberts. And you know, with every loss or every passing game, that managerial seat is getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter by the hour, minute, and second as the clock ticks away. Isaiah, we'll let you add on about Dave Roberts and your thoughts about his future maybe as the series plays out.
All right, I just want to make one correction. I said that earlier. I did my math wrong. I said I was going to give 75% of the blame to Will Smith, and then I said 20 to Chris Taylor, and I believe I said 10 to Kenley Jansen. It's actually 5% to Kenley Jansen, not 10%, because then that would be 105%, something that doesn't exist. But in terms of Dave Roberts, I think that one of the big moves that I really questioned was Dave Roberts not keeping Brusdar Gratterall. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but Brusdar
Gratterall.
Yeah, Brusdar Gratterall got the final out in the 8th inning. He was throwing like 97 to 100. Hitters just couldn't catch up. I thought he should have kept in Brusdar Gratterall instead of Kenley Jansen for the 9th inning, simply because I just think that, the Rays hitters in the 9th inning would not be able to catch up to any of the pitches that Gratterall was throwing with his electric stuff compared to the soft stuff that Kenley Jansen now throws.
So, and also once more again, though, Isaiah, but Angel again agrees with you. Plain and simple, Roberts is trigger happy when it comes to pitchers. And also Austin Morrison writes in again. Of course, Austin, thanks again, man, for all the great points. He says, I agree on the point about Will Smith, fellas. Always have to watch the ball into your glove to apply a tag or make the play. And I think that, Austin, though, that goes a bit further in my mind with Chris Taylor. To Isaiah's point, or to your point as well, Bud, Taylor kind of took a quick little peek up as the ball was bouncing toward him, and it kind of kicked off the edge of his glove and rolled away from him. So I think that it's a valid point for both Smith and also Chris Taylor. And also my man Espin agrees. Names, super hard. But again, Brusdar Gratterall throwing very well again for the Dodgers, but again, pulled out perhaps early due to, again, matchups being done by the Dodgers here today. With that, Isaiah, we'll move away from, again, the very weird and, again, very loony finish to talk some college football. With that, Isaiah, the opening week of the Big Ten came on Thursday with, of course, the Wisconsin Badgers plastering Illinois to the wall 45-7. With that, Isaiah, the first game of the day we'll get to today was Ohio State taking on Nebraska from an empty shoe in Columbus. A very close game, Isaiah, at the half, though. However, the Buckeyes run wild, and, of course, Nebraska with self-inflicted wounds gets blown out, sadly, 52-17, with also, as well, Isaiah, news coming out after the game was over of Ryan Day actually apologizing to Scott Frost for that late touchdown due to, again, some of the younger players coming in and not knowing the situation and stuff like that, and proper etiquette, perhaps, too, in a game like that. But, Isaiah, with that in mind, though, man, for Nebraska, at least, keeping this close, though, but still, man, getting blown out by a very good Justin Fields and a very good Ohio State team. Isaiah, good for a half for the Huskers, but sadly, though, man, the Buckeyes rolled them in the second half, though. Give us your thoughts about opening day for Nebraska and the Ohio State University.
Believe it or not, I was more impressed with Nebraska in this game than Ohio State. Nebraska in their half, when they kept it close with Ohio State, they really impressed me. Adrian Martinez did really well in that first half. Scott Frost's up-tempo, no-huddle spread offense that he learned from Chip Kelly in Oregon seemed to be taken up to another level, and it seemed that the players were getting comfortable with it, and it seemed to be working really smoothly in that first half. But unfortunately, against a very, very talented Ohio State team that has 5-star recruits all over the place, you cannot make any mistakes if you want to win this game. Because if you want to beat Ohio State, you have to play a perfect game, and you have to hope that Ohio State makes like 3 to 4 mistakes if you want to win that game. And if you make mistakes, they're going to capitalize, and that's what the Buckeyes did, and that's why Ohio State is 1-0 and Nebraska is 0-1. But I really like what I did see from Nebraska today. I think they will be a sleeper team in the Big Ten, like I predicted yesterday on No BS. I think they will get to a bowl game this year and take that next step in their rebuild under Scott Frost, and I think that would be good for them.
Isaiah, what do you make about Ryan Day kind of in a way apologizing post-game? I know, of course, that college sports are way different than the pros, though. but kind of in a way citing like, hey, we had some of the young kids in there. They probably didn't know what the situation was. They just didn't, execute the game plan though. Do you feel like it's right though for college coaches to apologize in a situation like that? Or is it kind of like, hey, it happened, so what?
Yeah, I thought that he should have apologized because I think that like not taking a knee and deciding to go for the touchdown when you're up 52-17 in the waning seconds of that ball game. I thought that was just a little too over the top and kind of classless on Ohio State's part. If it was like 52-17 with 5 minutes left in the ball game and you go like score a touchdown, I have no problem with that. But it's in the waning seconds of the game. Nebraska has no timeouts left. Just take the knee and take your win, and go back to the locker room, and then all is said and done. But hey, I'm glad that Ryan Day apologized.
Now, Isaiah, one thing though about this Nebraska game against Ohio State, though, man, and I think though across all the games I watched on Saturday, Isaiah, and you and I actually shared this on Twitter, actually, I think opening week of the year, though. But Isaiah, I think, I'm a big fan of Gus Johnson. I loved Gus Johnson, probably one of my favorite college football announcers right now, along with Chris Fowler of ESPN. But Isaiah, you and I both had talked about this on Twitter earlier in the season, though. But mainly in this ball game, and mainly in all the games I watched on Saturday, the amount of targeting calls that have been called, though, over the past several weeks, more so today, I think there was at least 4 called in the first game of the day that I watched, 1 called in the Bama-Tennessee game, and I think 1 called, 2 in the Michigan-Minnesota game. Isaiah, like we said, though, man, I'm glad that there is a rule about this in college football. However, though, man, some of these calls that have been made, though, that have had guys get tossed in the game, though, if you're getting Gus Johnson upset in the broadcast booth about maybe a questionable call, you might have a problem on your hands, though. Isaiah, what do you make about the amount of targeting calls that we have seen, maybe more so today or perhaps throughout the course of this season? Again, I personally love the rule, though, but at the same time, though, it's a kind of a bit of a confusing rule, though, at the same time. What do you got?
I'm glad that when they call targeting, they have to replay it, because if there wasn't replay, then you would have guys getting tossed left and right. Because I just feel like, listen, I love the fact that the referees are protecting the players when it comes to head trauma. I love that. But sometimes the referees, they get trigger happy when they see like accidental contact. Like today, I saw Iowa State, Oklahoma State. The quarterback for Oklahoma State, he's running and he dives forward, right? He dives forward, and I guess the Iowa State defender, he was trying to dive forward as well to try to touch him and make him down, and his head accidentally made contact with the Oklahoma State football player or the quarterback's head, and they called that targeting. And I was like, dude, it was accidental contact. It wasn't like the guy was, purposely lowering his head to try to knock that guy out. It wasn't like that one bit. So I'm glad that they have replay when they call targeting, because if they didn't have replay, gosh, know how many people will be ejected just for an accidental contact.
Absolutely. I, for one, again, Isaiah, I think it's just more so in wake, though, of both college and the NFL trying their damnedest to kind of cut down on those big collisions. At the same time, though, man, a lot of these, though, and again, though, Isaiah, I think you're right, though. I'm glad they're able to review them, because, I mean, if you're going to be calling targeting every so often, there ain't going to be no one left on defense. I think Nebraska lost 2 or 3 of their key guys because of targeting in their game today. With that in mind, Isaiah, more great comments from our buddy Austin Morrison. He says, OSU alum here, and I agree with you both. Nebraska did play pretty well today, and so this definitely comes down to securing the football against good teams. And also, Austin also agrees with targeting. He says, fellas, there needs to be 2 categories in regards to the targeting rule. Austin, if you have a bit of a better explanation about those rules, put them in the box. We'll read them off, and we'll kind of pick and choose what we like. But I think, Isaiah, that Austin might be onto a very valid point, though. There needs to be, I know they have like 3 set standards for what targeting is supposed, like what they could call targeting for. But I think that Austin is right, though, Isaiah. There needs to be like a bit more like clarification about what actually they are going to be reviewing or maybe why they're being thrown out of the game. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with it because, like, as I mentioned with the Oklahoma State Iowa State game, like that was accidental contact. And I just think sometimes the referees, whenever they see another person's head hit another person's head, they just automatically take that flag out and just toss it because they think it's targeting. So I think the referees, and I think everybody in general, when it comes to college football, needs to get a clarification on what is targeting exactly.
Yeah, definitely agree. Angel also agrees as well, Isaiah. He says, well, fellas, half the time targeting is accidental. A touch to the helmet could get you ejected. And I honestly, in some of the games I saw, though, Angel, I'm right there with you because, I mean, there was one blatant one in the lengthy Wyoming-Nevada-Reno game I was watching on CBS Sports Network that was pretty much guy caught the ball coming down and then just got absolutely plastered shoulder to the head. They threw him out of the game right away and they reviewed it, though. But, Angel, I agree, though. With that in mind, Isaiah, we'll go back to you to add more about the targeting rule in college football.
I just think like for the targeting rule, like I'm glad it's in place, but I like that rule, but I just think sometimes the refs, they just get too trigger happy. That's what is at the end of it.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people agree that are college football fans, but again, folks, in the first game of note, again, the Buckeyes over the Huskers, 52-17 from the shoe in Columbus. Next game, Isaiah, SEC matchup, Alabama and Tennessee. And once again, it's Alabama rolling all over the Vols from Neyland Stadium today, 48-17, though. However, Isaiah, will go to you, though, man. But with that, Isaiah, good win for Bama, but sadly, man, a big-time costly injury. What do you got for us?
Callan, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you much about this game because I honestly didn't watch most of it except probably the 3 minutes before halftime because this game was just like it was a blowout before halftime. I think Alabama had a 35-10 lead at halftime in this game. So I was like, why am I going to waste my time and energy watching this game when it's pretty much decided in the first half and like watch another game instead? So I didn't really watch this game. I'm sorry. I don't really have that much to tell you about this game. But hey, Jalen Waddle, if you're listening, man, we're praying that you have a speedy recovery from that injury. That injury did not look good whatsoever in this game. When I first saw it, I thought that he had hurt his spine because you saw that he gets tackled, right? And his back starts flying, he starts flying from his back bent sideways in the air. So I thought he hurt his back at that time. That's why I was like, oh crap. He probably sustained a spine injury, and then that's why he was taken by ambulance. But then I heard Jamie Erdar and Brad Nessler, they were like, it's an ankle injury. So even though the injury was really bad, I am really glad that it wasn't a spine injury instead of the ankle.
Yeah, all the best. And again, you hate to see guys injured, especially when it's the first play of the game as well. With that in mind, Isaiah, Austin Morrison actually has his categories for targeting. These sound very feasible in my mind, Mr. Morrison. Thanks again, buddy, for writing in. We really appreciate it. So, Isaiah, his breakdown of his rules here for targeting, a category with intent to injure or intent equals ejection. Then one category with accidental or normal action of football. First, a warning. Second time, you are going to be tossed from the game. Isaiah, that sounds like a good recipe in my mind. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it, man, because, there's some plays of targeting where the other team, they're losing by a lot. They're frustrated. So they just go for the head. They just go for, the big hits. And, we can't have that in today's age of college football. So I agree that if for those plays that you're definitely have to be ejected. And for the ones of accidental contact, I think, it's perfect because you get a warning, and then the second if you do it again, then it's not really accidental, if you know what I mean.
Austin, I would kind of in a way, buddy, say that that this reminds me, bud, and again, we thank you again dearly for your input. It's been very great on the program here the past couple nights, or shows, I should say. But with that, Austin, I would agree though on all this, man. But it reminds me, and I think it's perfect though, I really like that accidental or normal action of football because that rule, Austin, reminds me so much of the unsportsmanlike conduct rule, I believe in college and the NFL, where if you get 2, you're tossed from the game, I think, but 1, you get a warning for unsportsmanlike conduct. So I like where you're going, buddy. So again, great to kind of have that input. And also, Angel agrees as well. Everything is back to normal in college football with both Ohio State and Bama winning by 75 points. And Casey agrees, sorry, fellas, but too many blowouts in college football today. With that, Isaiah, we'll let you add on to your point. What do you got for us?
Callan, I want to respond to Angel's comment real quick about everything being back to normal. It's truly football season. You got Alabama, Ohio State winning big. You got every conference right now except the Pac-12 playing football. You've got the leaves outside turning red and turning brown and falling. The weather right now is like 50 degrees here in Fremont, California. So it's truly football season, man. It is no longer summer. That summer feeling right now for me and probably for other people as well. It's definitely football season.
Definitely for sure. And again, we thank you folks for the input. Next game, Isaiah, came down to overtime in a probable controversial finish in Bloomington, but the Hoosiers upset Penn State in overtime, 36-35. All this in wake, though, Isaiah, of a potentially missed or a controversial 2-point conversion scored by the Hoosiers to win the game in OT to knock off Penn State in their first meeting. Isaiah, epic game across the board, though. But I think, though, Isaiah, a lot of people will be talking, though, more so about how this game actually finished, though, with, again, the overtime finish, the touchdown by the Hoosiers. And again, Isaiah, maybe a potential controversial, no good 2-point conversion for the Hoosiers, but it goes in, though, or it's counted as a good conversion to win the ball game. Isaiah, what do you make, though, about the Hoosiers winning and more than anything else, though, buddy, knocking off a very good and ranked Penn State program today in Bloomington?
Listen, I don't want to take anything away from the Indiana Hoosiers and their win today. It was a tremendous win for Tom Allen and their program. Congratulations on that big-time win. But I think this was more of Penn State looking ahead to next week's game against Ohio State rather than looking to the task at hand, which was Indiana. I don't think Penn State came to play in this game. Penn State was flat from the beginning. They went down, I believe, 17-7. Their offense didn't really look that good for the first 3 quarters of this game. They had to rally back, and then they just took a lot of energy having to climb out of that hole that they dug themselves into in the beginning, and then they didn't really have any energy to finish off that comeback. But you got to give a lot of credit to Tom Allen and Indiana for this game. This was a fantastic game, man. It was Penn State took the lead, and then Indiana comes right back and score. And then right after Indiana scores, the kicker shanks the kickoff, and he kicks it only like 20 yards and gives Penn State the football at midfield. And I'm thinking in my mind, oh my God, Penn State is going to win this football game because they just need like 20 more yards to kick a field goal, and they win this game. But they missed the field goal, and then they go into overtime. Penn State, I believe, they score. Yeah, they score a touchdown. And then Indiana comes back with an improbable touchdown in the back of the end zone. They score. And then Tom Allen with a tremendous decision to go for 2, showing that he has so much guts. He goes for 2. The quarterback rolls to his left, sees a wide open lane, runs it in, and then gets pushed down, and then like he makes a full-on dive for the pylon, and the referees say that he gets it, and Indiana ends up winning that game, and Penn State loses in an upset. I just think this was more of Penn State not coming to play and looking ahead to Ohio State, and I think that's what doomed them in this ball game.
I would agree that perhaps overlooking the opponent is one thing, though. At the same time, though, an epic finish, though, across the board in this ball game. At the same time, though, Isaiah, I do think, though, that probably that the final, and again, I don't want to make this all about, this game boiling down to a 2-point conversion, maybe being in. But again, Isaiah, very weird finish, though, I would say, though, because of just seeing the play kind of in real time and seeing replays of it. I don't know, man, if this really could have been or what really, I feel like I'm kind of torn about it because like the pylon got knocked over. I get that and stuff like that. But Isaiah, I mean, do you kind of feel like though, man, that maybe that this game is probably going to be looked at by some of those, maybe perhaps the call was wrong on the field though for that 2-point conversion counting in your mind?
This I'm torn about it too, Callan. I think that if I have to say right now, I don't think he got it because I saw something on Twitter. I saw like a picture on Twitter that I forgot who tweeted this out, but it showed the ball being down on the turf an inch short of the goal line and like the runner or the quarterback still floating in midair. Once the ball is down on the turf, the play is dead. It's done. So I thought that it was really hard to determine on replay because you can't you can't really like slow-mo and try to replay it like they did. You can't really determine it. You have to freeze it, but they can't freeze it in college football. So I just think it was like the call on the field was like that he got it. So I just thought it was going to be too tough to overturn once the referee that was manning the end zone or the end zone by the pylon, he called it a good 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do, especially when it's in the middle, obviously plays going on, pressure situation, of course, with this being an overtime and so many things riding on the play. But again, it's the Hoosiers knocking off the Nittany Lions 36-35 in overtime from Bloomington, Indiana. Austin is back. He writes in to say sometimes it can't come down to one play. I'm sure just about all of us would have thought PSU would have won big. However, though, hats off to IU for the victory. And also Casey agrees. He thinks that Penn State will get their butt kicked next weekend by Ohio State. As for Indiana, was Gene Hackman, a.k.a. Norman Dale from Hickory High School, coaching them as he now coaches football too? Laughing out loud, perhaps. Who knows? And still, the fact that the Pacers wore those uniforms a couple years ago for uniforms was splendid. I love the Hickory High Hoosiers inspired jerseys, but also I think though that Isaiah would probably agree though with Casey. He thinks so that the Lions get waxed by the Buckeyes next Saturday in Happy Valley.
I hope not. I really hope not because I want to see Steven, Ryan, and Shree's face and Trevor's face when we have the Halloween Spooktacular. I want to see their faces when Penn State beats Ohio State. It will be the best moment of the year. I just want that moment. Please, Penn State, bounce back and give me that. Please, man, please. You know how much I hate Ohio State, Callan. I really want that moment.
I'm running out of places to write down all the teams Isaiah Leung despises. Mine's very, very small in case you're curious. The LA Dodgers and the LA Kings are the top two. Then the San Jose Sharks and Giants are up there too. But I don't have 25,000 teams I despise. I got maybe 4 or 5 on my list. But Isaiah's got every single college program, every team in California minus the Bay Area on that list somewhere. But again, it's the Hoosiers winning in overtime 36-35 over the Nittany Lions tonight from Bloomington, Indiana. Next game, Isaiah, to your point earlier in the show, though, but it's mentioned, though, buddy, Michigan and Minnesota, the Wolverines run away from the Golden Gophers and clobber them 49-24 Wolverines over the Golden Gophers from TCF Bank Stadium tonight out there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Isaiah, again, more so a game, though, where it was kept close for a bit, though. But again, Michigan's offense took this game over and ran away with it big time. Isaiah, give us your thoughts about Michigan sinking that boat in week 1 over the Golden Gophers from Minneapolis today.
Well, my thoughts on this game is, well, actually, before I give my thoughts on this, there's something I need to get off my chest. I've been, stuffing this down my chest for the past couple of hours, and it was something that really, really enraged me when I was watching this game. And it was a play that Minnesota scored a touchdown on, a rushing touchdown, I believe, in the second quarter of that game to make it 21-17 Michigan in the second quarter. And, like everybody, when you first see it, you think it's a touchdown. But ABC saw they gave 6 replay angles showing that the runner was not that the runner was down before he crossed the goal line into the end zone for the touchdown. His elbow was down, his knee was down, his hand was down, and the ref, it was so clear. The ref ends up calling it, saying call stands and is a touchdown. I was thinking, like, how is that a touchdown? What are you looking at? ABC had 6 clear angles and you still managed to call it a touchdown. So I don't know what on earth those damn referees were looking at, because it just makes no sense whatsoever. That should not have been a touchdown. That should have been 1st and goal for Michigan or for Minnesota at the 2-yard line. So I just had to get that off my chest. But in terms of this game, I was wrong about Michigan, man, Callan. I was wrong about Michigan. Callan, do I have permission right now to change my Big Ten pick that I made yesterday saying Ohio State was going to win the Big Ten? Do I have permission to change it? Because after seeing, I know it's one game, but after seeing what Michigan did, I think their offense is much improved. They ran the ball really well. Their offensive line got a lot of push tonight. And Joe Milton, a guy that was unknown coming into this game, because this was his first ever start, because since he's a true freshman, this guy might be the best quarterback that Jim Harbaugh has had in his entire tenure there in Ann Arbor. This guy has a cannon of an arm. This guy is so elusive when he's running the football. I think that, honestly, he can be Dak Prescott 2.0, and I think he can be a very, very good quarterback. I love what I saw today from Michigan's offense. They put up, 50-plus points in – or no, they put up 48 points in this game.
49.
It was – yeah, wait, what?
49.
49, right. They put up 49 points in this game. I think that's the most that Michigan has scored under Jim Harbaugh in like the last 3 years. So it was very, very good to see that Michigan offense performance in this game. But the Michigan defense is what I'm worried about. Michigan always has stout defenses in the Harbaugh era, but today their run defense was terrible. The Minnesota running backs were running wild all over that Michigan defense. Tanner Morgan, he didn't really do that well, but I'm worried about Michigan's run defense, because if they cannot shore up that run defense, teams like Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State that have great running backs are going to destroy Michigan's defense on the ground. So they got to shore that up if they want to win the Big Ten.
Austin Morrison is back. Michigan fans / lovers always said they're back after winning their first game until they get to the end. Shrugging emoji, go Bucks. I, for one, agree with that, Austin, in regards to it's kind of been that way more so more recently, Austin, than the past couple years, though. But I do think, though, that for right now, things look good. But let's not get ahead of ourselves after one game at the office. I mean, it's still a long way to go here in the season. But again, folks, it is the Wolverines over the Golden Gophers 49-24 from TCF Bank Stadium on Saturday night. Next game, Isaiah, Iowa State, Oklahoma State going on. And Oklahoma State kind of surprising some people in the Big 12 this season. A battle of good running backs. It is the Cowboys over the Cyclones 24-21. And the Brock Purdy train derailed after after this game by our fellow host on the program. Isaiah, this was actually billed as a big game, though, because of the 2-star running backs in this game for the Cyclones and for the Cowboys in this ball game. And it boils down, though, to a very rough day, though, for your boy Brock Purdy in this ball game for Iowa State, again, as the Cowboys win 24-21. Isaiah, more so, though, I think it's more in my mind, though, Oklahoma State kind of being a sleeper team right now in the Big 12. They look pretty good right now at this point in time. Of course, a lot of other great schools in the Big 12, like Texas, of course, and also Kansas State playing well, too. Again, they clobbered KU earlier on Saturday. But Oklahoma State, though, man, something about Oklahoma State is kind of in a way like giving off some vibes like maybe a good year for the Cowboys. But give us your thoughts, though, about the Cyclones faltering to the Pokes earlier on Saturday.
Callan, do we have to talk about this game? Can we please skip this game, man? I really don't want to talk about this game because I watched it and it was honestly not what I envisioned. You know, Oklahoma State, you got to give their defense credit. I don't think a lot of people have noticed Oklahoma State's defense yet because they play in the Big 12 and normally Big 12 defenses suck. But this Oklahoma State defense is for real. I think Fox put up a graphic during the game and it said that Oklahoma State's defense is only giving up 9 points. 9 points per game this entire year. Like, that's really, really impressive. I get the fact that they've only played like Tulsa, Kansas, Louisiana Tech, like teams that, you know, aren't really powerhouse offensive teams. But still, those numbers are very, very impressive. They have one of the best defenses in all of college football. And that secondary today was really good. Brock Purdy made really good throws in this game, but the cornerbacks and the safeties for Oklahoma State just kept batting the ball down in this game. You got to give credit to them, man. I was wrong. I know when I'm wrong. I know when to admit it. I was wrong in this situation. Oklahoma's State. Listen, Oklahoma State's defense was really, really good today, but I got to question the play calling of Matt Campbell. You know, Matt Campbell kind of turned into a conservative version of Kyle Shanahan in this game. You know, you have good.
Wow.
Iowa State has good receivers and great tight ends on the outside that are matchup nightmares. But instead, Matt Campbell decided for the most part of this game to just stick with the running game. I get that Breece Hall, the running back, is a beast. He's going to be a first-round pick when he comes out for the NFL draft. He's really, really special. But, dude, you got to pass the ball more, man. You got to air it out more and let your star quarterback air it out instead of air it out like 50, 60 times instead of throwing the ball just like 30 times. That's why Brock Purdy struggled in this game because he couldn't get into a rhythm during this ball game.
Yeah, and you can't rely on your quarterback to throw the ball 50, 40, 50, 60 times in a game. You got to rely on the running game too. But again, the Pokes beat the Cyclones 24-21. On Saturday, of course, and with that, Isaiah, one final game, though, close to your heart, though, with your University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors facing off with Martin Garcia's Fresno State Bulldogs, and U of H runs away with this ball game over the Bulldogs, 34-19 Rainbows over the Bulldogs from Fresno, California, to kick off the Mountain West Conference season schedule here on this Saturday. Isaiah, of course, I believe that there's a rivalry of some type between the Rainbow Warriors and the Bulldogs from the WAC days, of course, where they would join the Mountain West. Isaiah, we'll let you have the floor to talk about your hometown ball club back in Honolulu and how they looked against the Bulldogs in week 1 of the Mountain West season.
If you guys haven't heard of Chevan Cordero, go search him up right now and start taking notice of this guy. Chevan Cordero, the quarterback of Hawaii, he's a junior. He is very, very special. This guy is extremely elusive with his legs. He's super fast. He's a guy that has a terrific arm. I believe he backed up Tua Tagovailoa when Tua was in high school at St. Louis High School in Hawaii. This guy is going to be a special quarterback. He's a special player. Start taking notice of this guy, people. I was really impressed with Chevan Cordero. He was ripping apart Fresno State with his legs. He was ripping apart Fresno State with his arm. And most importantly, I was very impressed with Hawaii's defense. Callan, I'm sure you know this. Hawaii's when Hawaii plays football, they're not known for being a defensive team. They're known for like scoring 40, 50 points on people and beating teams. Yeah, they're known for beating teams in a shootout. But Hawaii's defense recorded 3 interceptions. They recorded 3+ sacks. Todd Graham, their new head coach, his first game coaching the Rainbow Warriors, he came in. He's instilled a defensive identity in this ball club. And that defense under Todd Graham, they are way, way better than they were last season. I think that now with Hawaii's offense being what they normally are, and that defense being actually good for the first time in like 10 years, I think Hawaii's got a legit shot at the Mountain West title.
You know, that's going to be a pretty big uphill battle, Isaiah, with how San Diego State University of Carson, California played in their first game. Of course, Boise State. Nevada Reno somehow won a very thrilling game over Wyoming in Reno on Saturday night, though. But Hawaii, though, like you said, though, Isaiah, they've always been an offensive-driven ball club. They've always been that way for the longest time that I can recall them in the WAC or in the Mountain West. And, of course, they put up 34 points on Fresno. And, oh, by the way, Isaiah, congratulations with you winning. You win a golden screwdriver. Congratulations. Probably one of the most dumbest college football rivalry trophies next to the oil can that SDSU and Fresno State play for in the Mountain West Conference. Unbelievable.
The milk jug.
No, I'd rather have a milk jug over a golden screwdriver. Give me a break. I know that college football has some weird things, but a screwdriver. I'd rather have Paul Bunyan's axe when the Badgers beat the Gophers, or the Cal Stanford game for the axe, or anything but a screwdriver. Please, let's get something else out there on this juncture. Angel writes in, he says, let's just call the game the Screw Bowl. Can we have like Stanley sponsor it, Milwaukee screwdriver, or like Milwaukee parts, or Craftsman sponsor it, or the Home Depot sponsor it?
It's better than the Potato Bowl, Callan. The Potato Bowl, you win it and you get a bunch of potatoes.
Then again, though, you have the Orange Bowl full of oranges, or the Rose Bowl, you get roses. Still,
yeah.
I'd take that over a damn screwdriver where I can just go grab one and paint it gold for my house. And Angel agrees. SDSU football is back, sort of. Go Toreros. Sorry, can't do it. Cannot do it, especially when you're playing in Carson, California, where the former football team went to. And by the way, I do have to say real quick, how in the world can SDSU not cover up the LA Galaxy branding? I mean, you could have not brought the giant SDSU tarps you had underneath the scoreboard at the stadium in San Diego to cover up the LA Galaxy branding in the one part of the end zone where Victoria Block and the Angel City Brigade stand for soccer matches. So bad. I mean, they were trying so hard to literally, they were trying, folks, their damnedest on CBS Sports Network to not show the LA Galaxy word mark on the wall, because this is a soccer team that they're playing in for 30,000 people. Again, no one there. Minus, I think the band was actually there to play the fight song when they would score touchdowns, but still, they tried so hard, Isaiah, to try their best to zoom in and up to block out the Galaxy branding for Major League Soccer. Espen agrees. Wow. Love drinking the screwdriver, a wedding favorite in Pennsylvania. And Angel agrees. The Screw Bowl screwed by the Home Depot, I think is what he is getting at. But again, it is Hawaii winning over the Fresno State Bulldogs. Isaiah, what else you got for us?
Callan, I need to go to the college football committee and pardon them for a pina colada bowl. Give me that. I would not mind winning a game and celebrating with 100 people. It would be the best thing on earth, man.
No, we're not doing it. They should just make the Hawaii Bowl trophy a giant drink out of a pineapple, for heaven's sakes. But come on, a screwdriver. A screwdriver. Give me a come on, man. You and Martin got to work out a better trophy for your rivalry between the Rainbow Warriors and the Bulldogs. Angel also writes in, I wanted to see SDSU for curiosity, but don't have CBSN. I mean, literally, Angel, all they did was they didn't even paint all the way in. They literally stenciled the Mountain West Conference logo at the 30-yard line and stenciled in the Aztec word marks. But on that, it looked like but it literally looked like you were still watching the Galaxy play a soccer match. They had all the Galaxy branding still visible, even in the supporters section, behind sections 121, 120, and 119, still up there. The giant LA Galaxy or the giant LA of their shield with the star was still visible on the walls. It's I know it's temporary, but you could at least try to give yourself some type of a home field advantage. But at the same time, you still could see all of the, the Galaxy branding, all of the Galaxy championships, championships up on the one side of the stadium and all the retired names and stuff. So I know it's only temporary, but at the same time, do better to make it like your own stadium, at least, please, for heaven's sakes. Also, Espen says, definitely got to stay away from the Corona Bowl. Definitely agree. And also, as well, Angel says, we just have college football games either for a Ford Pinto or a pair of old shoes. I mean, we literally have SDSU playing Fresno State for a oil can from 1925. Why? Give me something better than that, please. I still would take the oil can, though, over a screwdriver. Sorry, Mr. Leung, but cannot deal with a screwdriver. I'll take an axe. I'll take a milk jug. I'll take anything but a screwdriver for a college football rivalry. With that, Isaiah, some very cool but also somewhat depressing news if you're a UFC fan out there. Of course, our man Furman Lee talked about this fight. Of course, UFC 254 from Abu Dhabi, aka Fight Island, earlier on Saturday morning and afternoon. But of course, Isaiah Khabib wins the fight in round number 2 with a submission. But of course, Isaiah Morsaman, again, plagued by a lot of hardship with his father sadly passing away earlier this year. Khabib wins the fight, and then, of course, announces his plans to retire after said fight. He left his gloves in the middle of the ring, much like we've seen with The Undertaker in pro wrestling or other athletes who have retired, though. But Isaiah, I kind of get Khabib's vibes here, or get his, get his feelings here, Isaiah, because I remember this well when Tony Gwynn Sr. passed away in 2014, and Tony Gwynn Jr. was never the same. He was still playing for the Phillies at the time. I remember they came to San Diego about 2 months after his dad passed away. He led off the ball game and got a rousing, loud ovation from his hometown fans here in San Diego. But after that year, though, Isaiah, he retired from playing the game because, like, my dad's not here to help me out, or he's not here to see my journey. Why should I continue? And I kind of get those vibes, Isaiah, with Khabib, that he wins, though, but it's like, why should I move on or keep pursuing my career in MMA when my old man is not here to either help coach me, help me out along the way, though? So I kind of get those vibes, Isaiah, but give us your thoughts, though, man, kind of briefly. I know we don't watch a lot of UFC or talk about it here, Isaiah, but your thoughts, though, Isaiah, about seeing Khabib go out on top, though, but again, though, in a way, though, man, saying, you know what, hey, enough's enough with my dad being gone, though.
Listen, I gotta give Khabib Nurmagomedov a lot of credit, man. This guy is probably one of the best mixed martial artists we have ever seen in our lives. This guy, every time he fought, he dominated the fight. There was no decision. Well, there probably was a decision when it came to his fights, but when it came to the decision, it was always an easy decision and an easy win for Khabib Nurmagomedov. This guy dominated every opponent that he faced. He dominated Conor McGregor. He got Conor McGregor to tap out in the 3rd round. And now in the 2nd round, in a very highly anticipated fight, he gets Justin Gaethje, who is a tremendous MMA fighter, to tap out and submit. So kudos to Khabib Nurmagomedov on a fantastic career. We will never see another Khabib Nurmagomedov again. And I really understand why Khabib retired after this fight, because he was very close with his father. His father was the one that taught him how to fight. He taught him all the moves that Khabib has now. He taught him all the defensive moves that Khabib has now. He was Khabib's trainer from the day that he picked up fighting to right now. So Khabib has never fought until today without his father besides him as a trainer. And he said in his final interview that I can't go on without my father training me. So that's why I am retiring. I understand it 100%. Kudos to Khabib, man, and I really wish him a happy retirement. I'm kind of, sad that he's gone from the sport because I love to see greatness in every sport that I watch. But this guy dominated, man. I guarantee you, in 10 years, we will see a mantle in the UFC Hall of Fame of Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Absolutely agree, and I think a lot of people agree, though, in regards to it. Isaiah, some comments here. Angel agrees with me about the Aztecs being super lazy at their temporary home for the season. He says that's just lazy. I was expecting to see at least SDSU's logo at midfield. I mean, they literally just stenciled in the Mountain West Conference logo and the team word marks in the end zone. But other than that, Angel, I don't know if it's because the Galaxy are still in season or what's going on, though. But it's a very lackluster job by both the school and by the Galaxy for at least not covering up their branding, as if San Diego has to deal with enough LA nonsense as is right now with the Dodgers still in the World Series and things like that. Also, Espen agrees about Tony Gwynn Jr. and Sr. He says absolutely true, so true and very sad. Austin Morrison agrees. Khabib is the baddest man on the planet. And Angel also agrees, though, and also said, let's not forget, though, fellas, too, that MJ did the same thing after his dad passed away, too, where, again, he left basketball for a bit after his dad had passed away. With that, Isaiah, week number 7 of the NFL season on the horizon comes Sunday. Plenty of action, and, of course, saw a very great game on Thursday between, again, at the time, two bad ball clubs. Again, a very great game, though, down to the final play pretty much of the ball game. And, of course, a great game on Monday Night Football coming up, and also great games, too, on Sunday. With that, Isaiah, give us maybe the 1 or 2 games you're probably watching closely come Sunday or the upcoming week here of NFL football.
I've got 3 games that I'm watching. Number 1, it's part of the early game slate. It is the Washington football team hosting the Dallas Cowboys. I'm intrigued by this game because I want to see how the Dallas Cowboy defense, that porous Dallas Cowboy defense, how they do against a Washington football team offense who has been one of the worst offenses in the NFL. It is worst defense versus worst offense. Something has got to give in that game. So I'm really interested to see how that game unfolds. The second game, it's got to be my 49ers against the New England Patriots in Foxborough. The game starts at 4:25 p.m. on the East Coast, 1:25 on the West Coast in New England on CBS tomorrow afternoon. This game features 2 coaches at the best of what they do. Bill Belichick, the best defensive mind of all time. Kyle Shanahan for the 49ers, one of the best offensive minds right now in the NFL. It's going to be a great chess match between those 2 coaches. And also, you've got Jimmy Garoppolo facing his former team for the first time since the New England Patriots traded him back in 2017. There's just a lot of storylines with this game. And this game, I think it's going to be a pick-em type of game because you've got the Patriots offense who hasn't really been that good this season. I know they got Cam Newton, but the Patriots, if they're not having success running the football, then they don't really have success on offense because their passing game has been really inconsistent versus the 49ers defense that has been shellacked by injuries all year long. They put up a good performance last week against the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. They are getting healthier. I want to see how that defense holds up against a not so good New England offense, and also the same on the other side of the ball. 49ers offense, not really that good, really inconsistent against the Patriots defense that is very, very good. I want to see how this game unfolds. And last but not least, Callan, I think you probably know where I'm going with this next game. It is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. I'm pretty sure you guys know by now who I'm picking. If you guys don't know, There's a whole post on my Facebook about who I'm picking. But the reason why I'm intrigued by this game, it's not because like it's a measuring stick for Denver or I want to see my guy Drew Lock ball out. It has nothing to do with it. I'm intrigued by this game because this is going to be the first game of this NFL season where there's going to be heavy snow. I think everybody loves a snow game in the NFL.
I'm going to go with a few of my games here. With that, again, folks, by the way, some schedule notes here, though, but a couple of the games have been, in fact, moved, folks, again, due to COVID concerns, though more so Tampa Bay and Vegas were moved out of prime time, again, due to COVID concerns with the Raiders and their entire offensive line. The first game I'm going to pick, though, is actually going to be the new primetime game on Sunday, which is going to be Seattle and Arizona is on my radar right now with this game because, for one, it is first and foremost, it is a Arizona ball club coming off of a amazing performance against the Cowboys, 38-10 last Monday night in Arlington against a Seahawks team coming off of a bye week at 5-0, though. But as well, though, should mention that Russell Wilson is, in fact, 6-1-1 in his career versus Arizona on the road in his career. But it should be a great game, though, and it will be great, though, I think, as Isaiah said, though, about measuring sticks, though. Good measuring stick game here for the Cardinals, facing a very good and right now unbeaten Seattle ball club, I should say. Also, Austin Morrison has the game I was also going to say as well. Pittsburgh and Tennessee, the battle of the few unbeaten teams left in the entire NFL, is also one that I'm going to be watching closely again. More so, like I said, though, Austin, last week, I think it comes down to the running game perhaps being a factor. Again, Derrick Henry's looked phenomenal so far for Tennessee. And also Ryan Tannehill has looked very good so far for Tennessee as well. But also I'll go with the obvious choice, though, the homer pick of the Bears at the Rams on Monday Night Football. For one, first Bears game I'm going to see on TV this year. But also, how will the Bears play against a very good Rams defense? Again, who's been very good. And also that the Rams are 14-4 at home since going back to LA since 2018. So I think, Isaiah, a couple of measuring stick games, more so is what I picked. And of course, that very good game between Pittsburgh and Tennessee. What else you got for us for week 7 of the NFL season?
Callan, I'm very stunned that you didn't pick the game of the week, the Chargers at the Jaguars. I mean, who doesn't want to see that matchup?
Well, first of all, it's Jacksonville at the Chargers, not in Jacksonville. It's in Los Angeles. I did pick the Chargers because I think that Herbert is due to win a ball game, and I think it's between two very dreadful quarterbacks. At least one of them, though, has promise. The other one has gone down the gutter already, so I'm going with the Chargers in that ball game. But it's got to be Chicago playing the Rams on Monday Night Football because, again, for the Bears at least, again, probably, like I said, though, the biggest pretenders in the NFL right now at 5-1, this is going to be a good measuring stick game for this offense. And, again, Nick Foles versus a very good, very scary Rams defense in my mind, but also a team, though, in the Rams, as I said, though, since 2018 is 10 games over 500 at home, whether it's the Coliseum or now SoFi Stadium. So it's going to be a very great game come Monday Night Football when that, in fact, rolls around at 5:15 on ESPN. Some other thoughts. Angel's going to go with his Niners playing or winning over New England. And also he says, Callan, I'm actually surprised last week, but the famed Lee Hacksaw Hamilton on KUSI Channel 9 down in San Diego did a segment on the Aztecs playing up in Carson and that they actually had the logo on the scoreboard and on the digital video boards. Angel, they do have that, but nothing else on the field to really solidify that this is a home game of some sorts for the Aztecs. Again, it's a very piss poor job, if you ask me, done by both the school, SDSU, and by the LA Galaxy for, again, not really doing enough to either cover up their branding or, in a way, let the Aztecs do their own branding on that field up in Carson. But hey, what do you expect from a franchise like the LA Galaxy? Am I right? Pretty much. With that in mind, folks, and I'll move on into tonight's final thoughts. All right, folks, time to close down shop on this Saturday. Again, plenty of college football. Again, a very loony finish to the World Series in Game 4. And, of course, previewing NFL Week 7. Isaiah, will go to you for your final thoughts for tonight's show.
All right, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to thank Angel, Austin, Espin, let's see, Casey King. Sorry about your Dodgers, Casey. I hope they do in fact bounce back in Game 5. Chardot and Vic, and that's pretty much it. But I want to thank you guys for tuning into the show tonight and commenting and interacting with us. You guys are the best. We are nothing without your guys' love and support. So thank you guys so much for always tuning in and always interacting with our show. I also want to thank Xfinity for holding up on the internet side and not letting my stream crash for the last 50 minutes of the show. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate that. And Callan, for my final thoughts, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was teasing a bunch of surprises, right? I was teasing a bunch of surprises. I gave one surprise thus far. But ladies and gentlemen, here is the other surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, and I haven't told Callan this as well, but Callan, you might want to take a look at this, by the way. But look what came in the mail today. Look at that. Slam Diego. I got this shirt off online, actually, from one of the San Diego vendors. I vowed when I went down to San Diego a month ago that I was going to get a Slam Diego shirt, and here it is. It finally arrived in the mail. I can't wait to rock it on the show. It looks super nice, man. Yeah, it looks really, really nice. I can't wait to be part of the Slam Diego Padres fan base. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys keep tuning into the night shift, because me and Callan have some new segments planned for you that we are going to reveal in the coming weeks and months. We've talked about it. They're being worked out right now. So make sure you guys tune in for that, and also tune in for our Halloween Spooktacular, which we will have next Saturday night. I believe it's after the Ohio State-Penn State game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Callan, on that.
That is correct.
All right, it's going to be after the Ohio State-Penn State game. Me, Steven, Callan, Ryan, Furman, Martin, and John Mathis and our entire network will be dressing up in our Halloween costumes and sitting down at the round table, eating some candy, eating some pumpkin muffins, drinking some pumpkin spice cocoa, and we will be talking sports on Halloween night next Saturday. Please tune in for that. You won't want to miss it.
It's going to be fun, folks. It's going to be fun. Again, they'll be following the Penn State-Ohio State football game next Saturday. When they finish up their game on Fox in your local market. Of course, folks, a major thank you again to all you folks for tuning in. But as a reminder, Halloween Spooktacular next Saturday, October 31st, back here on Basixkin. The entire crew, hopefully, will join us, including our good buddy Martin Garcia up in Fresno, California. But again, to Casey, Angel, Espin, and the rest of the commenters, again, Austin Morrison, man, some great stuff, buddy. Thanks for, again, tuning in and for keeping us going here. As we had mentioned, again, Isaiah, again, plagued with technical problems throughout the course of the show here today. But again, folks, that is all of the commenters. And again, we thank you all very much for, again, joining us here tonight. And again, folks, as one more reminder, but again, the Halloween Spooktacular is on the menu next Saturday. Again, that'll be following the conclusion of the Penn State-Ohio State football game. Again, with myself, Isaiah, John Mathis, everybody. It's going to be fun to, again, be a part of it. And again, maybe tell some spooky stories. And again, more so hang out and enjoy ourselves on Halloween night. With that, though, folks, for the entire cast and crew here on the MI6 Sports Network, and of course for our buddy Isaiah Leung for, again, staying up late with us, this is Cal McClurg saying goodnight from San Diego. Take care, folks. Have a great rest of your night. Take care. Stay safe and stay healthy. So long. Sayonara. Farewell. We are out of here. Till tomorrow night, folks. Have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.